Show with Frank Sparks and Scott Tatey. Frank and Scott will get you caught up on what's going on in the world with news, sports, and entertainment, along with playing some of your favorite tunes, including Pittsburgh area bands. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Frank Sparks and Scott Tatey.
All right, we're back here on Beaver County Radio. It is the morning show on a Friday morning. Normally, I have Backyard Beaver County at this time, which is all local music and bands, but we're going to have that coming up for you at 8:30. And right now, though, we're going to have a special, as there's been a lot of controversy, as we know, in the borough of Beaver. There's been taxes going up, so there's a group of people that stepped up and said, look, we want to see what's going on here. They've been attending all the meetings, and then they decided they were all going to run for office. So we decided we were going to go straight to the horse's mouth. So what we're going to do is, first off today, we're going to have Lincoln Kretchmar, who's running on the Republican side of things, for mayor of Beaver. And then on Monday at 9 a.m., current mayor Tom Hamilton's going to join us, and they're both going to talk about their candidacy running for mayor of Beaver. And what we're going to do is at the very end, Scott, we'll open up the phone lines a little bit. So if anybody wants to have any questions or anything of them, they're welcome to call. But first off, let's get started and welcome in Lincoln Kretchmar, who is a candidate for Beaver mayor. And first off, Lincoln, thanks for coming. And
thanks for having me, Frank. I appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about who is Lincoln Kretchmar.
So I'm a third-generation owner of Kretchmar's Bakery, as many people know. I moved back to the area in 2003. Upon moving back, I joined a number of community organizations. So I've been serving in the community through different organizations such as the Beaver County Educational Trust, and I almost immediately joined the Beaver Area Chamber of Commerce. We ran a lot of the events in Beaver. I did that for quite a few years. And I've served in the executive positions in those organizations. Currently, I'm the treasurer of the BCET. I was treasurer for 5 years during my time on the Beaver Area Chamber of Commerce. I've also obviously been running the bakery for the last 22 years. And so, we've got a staff of 30, a great staff. So I think, that basically gives you an idea of who I am. I moved my family to Beaver in 2018. We bought a house. We had been looking for a home in Beaver for a long time. And
so married?
I am. I'm married. I have 2 kids.
Okay. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Desiree.
Okay.
And my kids, I have Titan, who is attending Ohio University. He just finished his freshman year.
Cool.
And my daughter, Bianca, is a student at Beaver Area High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm seeing between the two different camps running for office, something about parking meters. Is one side in favor of parking meters, or what's the situation?
So I don't know how that rumor got started. There is no initiative among the people running for the Better for Beaver slate of candidates that have even talked about bringing back parking meters. Actually, so when they did the streetscape back in, 1992, I think, my father was actually on that committee, and he was one of the people that fought against the meters or wanted to have the meters removed and go to a 2-hour parking situation. And so, yeah, that's just the rumor mill, basically, and we have no interest in bringing back the meters.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah,
first of all.
yeah, no problem.
And wait, there was something on Facebook that wasn't true?
Yeah, right.
There's been a lot of misinformation on yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to trust the, you got to look for sources, right?
All right, so tell us what brought you to wanting to run for mayor in Beaver?
Well, so honestly, yeah, I'd been attending meetings. I was upset about how decisions were being made. I love Beaver, and born and raised. I did leave, to go to school, and I lived in San Francisco for a bit, and I lived in New York before moving back. I always had designs on moving back to Beaver, but in any case, the reason that I chose to run was, I see these poor decisions being made by council, and we try to vocalize the opposition to those poor decisions, and it fell on deaf ears, and so I felt unheard as a citizen, and with the tax increase and the 56% tax increase, that's gonna hurt our downtown. I mean, when taxes go up that much, commercial rents go up, and when commercial rents go up, the owners of the businesses have to raise prices, and they're already dealing with inflation on the products that they're buying and the ingredients that they're using, and so It's definitely going to hurt the town, and I don't like to see that kind of thing happen to the town that I love.
65% over the last 2 years of a property tax increase. Is that part of what you're talking about?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah. They raised taxes in 2024 9%, and then they went back to the well again for 56% because they're not making good decisions.
Okay.
So what would your group do differently budget-wise? If there are no tax increases, would there be cuts? Would there be just different ways of financing things? Or
So honestly, we're looking at implementing a zero-based budget where you basically start from zero and you justify every cost on every line going forward. And so we really do need to look at how we're spending our money and some of the decisions that they're making. Just to give you an example, the council knew about a landslide that happened on River Road down by Lynn Park, and it happened back in 2001. Not the zoning officer, the engineer went and looked at it, said this is a problem, we need to deal with this. Well, they waited. They got grant money to fix it, but then they didn't use that grant money on the landslide. They used it for the new pool house, community center renovation, which I don't know why you wouldn't fix something that is going to get worse from, we've had these horrible storms and whatnot. The water washing away more and more of the hillside there. And so it turned into a bigger problem, a much bigger expense. If they just would have handled it back in 2021, it would have been good.
that has been a lightning rod, the pool house.
Right.
There's some
Yes.
people also pushing, they would like to see a swimming pool back. Where do you stand on that?
So when it comes to the swimming pool, actually, so when I moved my family here to Beaver in 2018, that was one of the reasons that we wanted to move to Beaver. It's a walkable town, it's a beautiful town, and we had some family amenities such as the community pool, and it was still open at the time, right? Well, what they do, they didn't put the money, they didn't maintain it well, and so they had to decommission it, and then the Planning Commission, sent out a survey of what we should do for the Shaw Park area, and the number one thing that residents wanted was a pool. And the pool itself was only going to be about $3 million. The whole Shaw Park renovation, putting in the amphitheater and pickleball courts and whatnot that were part of that plan, was like a $6 million. And to be honest, $6 million, I don't know that the town could have swung that. But the $3 million for the pool, I think they could have spent if they would have done some things in advance, and addressed some of the costs early on. In any case, yeah. And so with the pool house, once again, there wasn't even a motion to approve the renovations of the pool house. So they spent, over $1 million without an actual motion from council to say that it's approved. And so when you see that kind of thing happen in government, you want to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big impetus for why I'm getting involved.
So we're seeing last year that in the release I got that the borough council exceeded their budget by $1 million last year. Any reasoning why or anything that you've seen? Or
Yeah. So the two issues that we were just talking about.
Okay.
So the pool house, that wasn't even in the budget, right? And then they went and spent $1 million. They did use that ARPA money to help bring down the cost to the town and the taxpayer, but it wasn't enough to cover the whole thing. And then the landslide definitely was a chunk of that. And then police overtime was another thing. I mean, they went over police overtime by quite a bit. And in any case, yeah, that's
why
another
so
area.
much overtime in the police department? Any reasoning or?
Honestly,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So also tell us, you're not only, you're the one running for mayor. So who else is in the group with you
Sure.
that's running?
Yes. So Beaver's actually broken up into 3 wards. A lot of people may not be aware. So Ward 1, we have Peggy McCain and Ron Stidman running. They have, Peggy's been on council. She's the only council member that actually voted against the 56% tax increase. And she was an ex-U.S., a retired U.S. diplomat. She's a great candidate. Ron Stidman, he actually was part of Darlington Township's council. And so he's got experience there. He was when he was working, he was a economist. And so that's Ward 1. In Ward 2, my sister is running, and she was a business consultant for 20 years. She'd be a great asset. She's been attending the meetings and filing right to knows to try to get some of this basic information, from council for the last 2 years or whatnot. And so that's who we have in Ward 2. In Ward 3, we have Bill Egley. He's the husband of Sandy Egley, the county treasurer. He's been a vice president of accounting at ServiceLink for years.
Quite some time, yeah.
Yeah, quite some time. And then Rebecca Beam, she rounds out our Ward 3 candidates, and she's got her MBA. She got a master's in public policy, and she's also got a young family. So she was obviously concerned about family amenities and making sure that families are represented on council. You
mentioned amenities. That's a question I had. Do you guys foresee adding anything new to Beaver? And one example I think of, there's that little stage next to the courthouse at Park. I've yet to see any entertainment there, and it's been there for a year now. And when's there going to be someone singing there or doing a play or something? So,
and to be honest, I don't know why we need two in town, right? I mean, we just built this beautiful amphitheater, in Shaw Park or whatnot, and so. But I will say that I'm pretty sure that was funded by a generous gift from a local resident, and so I don't know that cost the taxpayers anything. I'd have to look into that. They used to have a band, the Beaver County Brass Band would come in and play in the
gazebo.
Park. Yeah. And so, and that's the other thing. We've got the gazebo. So, there are multiple areas where we can have entertainment held in town, which is great. I think that's a great facet to town.
All right, so $1 million overspent last year, 56% property tax increase. What are you going to do if you're elected as mayor to make it so that there isn't over $1 million too much spent and a 56% property tax increase?
So my role in this slate of electors as running for mayor, a lot of people don't know the mayor's role. So if I could just touch on that for a minute.
Sure.
So the mayor actually it doesn't get a vote on council. So he is not a voting member unless there's a tie between council members. So if you only have 8 showing up for the meetings and you need a tiebreaker, the mayor gets to do that. The mayor also gets to veto any ordinances that get passed if he doesn't agree with them or he or she doesn't agree with them. And so the council would then need a supermajority, which is basically 6 votes, to override the veto. They've got 10 days to do that. The other things that the mayor does, the big thing is being able to participate in council meetings. So I'll be able to advocate for the residents and share information, right? Right now, they're very walled off. Council doesn't share very much. Borough doesn't share very much. And so you have to file a right to know to get any sort of information. Even if you just want their treasurer report from the council meetings, you have to file a right to know, which just to me is ridiculous. And so, I want that information available to the public. And so that's going to be my role is access to that kind of information. Then the other people running with me, hopefully will have the majority of council and be able to enact, better decision making. And so that's the plan.
So you guys as a group together, working together, what's your plans for Beaver?
So once again, trying to make better decisions, you're looking at every decision that comes across, from a fiscal perspective, right? Do we have the money to do this? How do we fund this? Do we need to bring in more revenue? How can we do that? And I think the team that we've put together is going to be able to do that. That said, there are some contractual things that are already set in stone.
Right.
We're not going to be able to get out of some of the contracts that have already been signed and agreed to by council, and they're longer contracts. So there won't be any immediate effect that we can have truly on things because of those contracts, and so in any case. Hopefully, when the time comes, and these decisions come up, we'll be able to make more fiscally responsible decisions. And you run one of the most successful and recognizable businesses in downtown Beaver. Is there anything you would do differently in downtown Beaver? Anything you would like to see an addition or a change? Or? Oh, sure, yeah. So some of the things, the crosswalks. We've had multiple people hit crossing the street. In fact, one of our employees, her sister just got hit crossing Sharon Road. The lighting isn't great on the crosswalks. We really could use an improvement there. As a business owner, I want my customers to make it to the bakery safe. I'm concerned about the safety and security of the town. That crossing by Starbucks, you got to kind of sprint to get across. Yeah. In fact, my sister almost got hit the other day. It was a couple months ago, but she almost got hit in the crosswalk at that exact intersection. Oh. And so the thing is, it is a state route, and so you get people that come through town way too fast. And as a pedestrian, you do have the right of way, and not for nothing, but you're taking your life in your own hands when you sometimes cross the street. When it's early, because I come through there every morning, about 5:30, 5:45, and in mornings when it is raining,
It is very hard to see in downtown Beaver. I don't know if it's the lighting or what it is, but it is very complicated to see. And then I think it was yesterday morning when it was foggy, that was even worse. It was like however the lights are, the way they come down, just it makes it hard to see.
Yeah. I will say the streetscape is beautiful and it looks great. But one of the things that changed when they did the streetscape was the lighting. They took away the pole lighting, which was probably about 10 feet higher or whatnot.
Right.
You now have shorter poles, and so they cast lower light or whatnot, and it's not as big a radius that they cover, and so the town did darken up. I will say at times, especially during the holiday times, when you have the lights on the trees and whatnot, it does help quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And so looking at lighting at the crosswalks, I think would be a great thing.
All right, so we do have the phone lines open right now. It's about 20 after. It's 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888 if you have any questions that you would like to ask of Lincoln. The primary election is Tuesday, so you need to get out and vote. And Scott, you got anything else you want to?
No, just one more time. The group is called Better for Beaver, and you've touched on a lot of things you want to do. Is there anything else you think is important for people going to the primary? What makes this group stand out?
So once again, it's the fact that we're interested in actually bringing some transparency. The current council doesn't want to share anything, and I think that'll be big. Putting the meetings online, we're all on board with that, and so I think that's an important thing. I will say I do want to give a shout out today. It's been National Police Week,
right?
And in town today, I don't know if you guys have talked about it already on the radio or not, but we've got an event going on in town in Beaver at 10 o'clock, to honor fallen police officers. We've donated to that numerous years through the bakery. The bakery's donated numerous years to that or whatnot. In any case, just want to make people aware that that's happening. It's a great event. Come on down and partake.
What's your perfect idea of a perfect Beaver? I mean, it's a beautiful it's one of the most beautiful downtowns we have here in Beaver County.
Yes.
So what do you think you could do, or your group together could do, to take it to the next level?
You know what? I think it is adding to the family amenities, right? I would love to see one of the things that happened during COVID. A lot of people got dogs. It'd be great to see a dog park somewhere in Beaver. I don't know if you guys are dog owners.
Absolutely.
We've got a little Shiba Inu. Yeah. His name is Fox, after the Phoenix from Harry Potter. In any case, attracting families, right? Beaver County as a whole has been losing population. And I think one of those reasons is because we don't have the amenities that some other areas offer. And our taxes are going up.
Absolutely. So
I always wanted to address it because people use the word Beaver a dry town, but there's a beer distributor.
Yeah.
There's a place selling wine, Blackbird Market, which I really like. There's you can buy beer at the Waffle Zinc. So is it officially a dry town? And is there any thought of one day having like a winery, a distillery, or something like Swickley or Zillionope or some other similar sized towns have had?
Sure. In the past, I know there's definitely an element in town that would be totally against the idea of, but like you just pointed out, we already have alcohol in town, and most of the restaurants are BYOB, right? And so I don't see any issue with allowing the restaurant to actually make some money off of that wine or that beer or whatnot. And so, that is something that has been talked about quite a bit. And there's a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, that the parks are somehow related to us being dry. That they were granted by a family, and that
I've heard that.
I've heard that too. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if
Right.
that's accurate, but that we definitely wouldn't want to lose the parks. But I will say that since the PA LCB has created all these new licenses, like the grocery store. I think the grocery store would be a great place. I don't know if Kevin has any interest in actually getting into it, but adding wine and beer sales to the grocery store, the Beaver Super, would I think be a huge benefit
increase
for
your
town.
foot traffic in town for sure. So, would you add any events or anything to what Beaver's already doing to maybe increase foot traffic in town?
Well, so when I was on the Beaver Area Chamber of Commerce, we basically ran the majority of the events in town. So we had things like the Bunny Hop, we had the Halloween Parade, we had car cruise. The only thing that we didn't run was Garrison. That somehow fell to the Beaver Foundation or whatnot, and so they took that over at some point. But I thought all those family-friendly events were great. I'd love to see them return, and so I don't know how we bring that about. Like I said, those were all through the chamber. I left the chamber board in 2019, so I don't know if they have any interest in bringing some of those things back.
Okay. I know that one of the big events that Beaver has each and every year is actually the Christmas parade. Light up night. That's always a big one too.
Oh yeah,
so.
I've actually organized that as a member of the Beaver Area Chamber of Commerce in the past.
That was always a must event.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, our last question for you today is. We're going to open the floor to you. Tell us why the residents of Beaver Borough should elect you as mayor.
Sure. So once again, not to harp on it, but I am going to basically try to bring transparency through my position as mayor to council and to the borough management. I think that our slate of electors, our slate of candidates, will definitely focus on the fiscal responsibility and try to make Beaver affordable again.
Okay.
Very good, Lincoln. I appreciate you coming in and being, as you said, transparent and sharing your vision. And I
appreciate you guys having me. This has been fun.
Well, good luck on Tuesday. When you win, come see us.
All right.
We'd love to have you on again, and hopefully get you on more in the future. So.
I appreciate you guys.
All right.
And so
next time you're here, bring pastries, no matter what the reason is.
That's the number one question I get. So I'm doing canvassing and whatnot. It's like, where's the donuts?
Yeah,
why didn't you bring donuts?
Right. So see, that's how when the radio station moves, that's how we pick. We were buying the other one in Beaver Falls, and then when we started talking about moving, I said to the bosses, well, we got to go to Beaver because Kretchmar's is in Beaver.
Well,
so,
the Bavarian cream donuts, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah,
you got to be in that area, so then I can go by there every day, and it's like, oh, okay. But we do appreciate you coming in, and good luck on Tuesday.
Well, thank you very much.
And hold your ears because our first commercial is for Ambridge's Bakery, Stangles. Your Mother's Day or Father's Day sweet treats, or maybe cupcakes for the class, cookies for the party, and custom delicacies for your whole family. Get orders in early to ensure availability. Stop into Stangles on your way to work for a breakfast treat for you, or be the office hero by picking up pastries and other goodies for everyone. Stangles is open Wednesdays through Saturdays at 572 Merchant Street from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford is proud to present Beaver County Radio's special audio and video presentation of this year's Memorial Day Parade in Beaver on Monday, May 26th. Mike Romai and Curtis Walsh will have live audio coverage on 99.3 and 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and Beaver County Radio streaming outlets. You can watch the video coverage on the Beaver County Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Beaver County Radio's coverage of the 2025 Beaver County Memorial Day Parade in Beaver is being brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Other broadcast sponsors include St. Barnabas Health System, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, J. Young Refuge, and